Welcome back to Guided by Faith. I am Jay Holland. This is episode 201. We are blazing through, and if you are a part of my youth group at Covenant Fellowship, we just got back from church camp at the end of last week. And so if you just got back from church camp, this week is going to be really helpful to you. And if you didn't just get back from church camp, this week's going to be really helpful to you. I don't know about you guys, but I've had a number of experiences, oftentimes after camp, or just a great service at church or something that the Lord does in my life, where I feel this super spiritual high. I have all of these intentions to follow Jesus, and yet when I look back after a little bit of time, everything's kind of the same. Like I've just defaulted back into my old habits and my old patterns, except now I feel worse about it because I thought that I was going to be really serious in following Jesus. What I have realized over time is that it's not my spiritual high, it's not my intentions that are going to actually get the work done. It's my habits, it's my systems. And so I have actually, over the last few years, been really helped by a book. It's not even a Christian book, but the guy's name is James Clear, who wrote it. The book is called Atomic Habits, The Surprising Power of Tiny Changes, I think is the subtitle. And what I want to do is this week help you go from spiritual high, from great intentions, to being able to put systems and habits in place that will help you truly grow in your faith. Because you don't grow on the mountaintop, you grow in the valley, you grow in the work. The mountaintops are nice, but we can't live there. So if you've ever had one of those mountaintop experiences, you've had all of this intention to follow the Lord, and it hasn't worked, I want to just help you with that this week. So we don't want to go from inspiration to then I intend to do good, and then I'm inconsistent, and then I'm just discouraged and give up. I don't think the problem is your motivation. I think the problem is your system, because I've seen the same thing in me. In the book Atomic Habits, James Clear says this statement that's really helpful in basically every area of life. You do not rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your systems. It's not your goals that are the problem, it's your systems. You know, you want to stay close to God. That's a great goal, and I hope that that's your goal for life. But without some kind of structure, without some kind of routine, without some kind of habit, you're not going to stay close. In Luke chapter 16, verse 10, Jesus says, whoever can be trusted with very little can also be trusted with much. And in Zechariah 4:10, God's word says, do not despise these small beginnings, for the Lord rejoices to see the work begin. You know, here's what I want to encourage you in. You know, a lot of times we have these grand goals of what I want to do, what I want to be for the Lord. But every true goal that you get to is a series of small steps. And what we want to learn is to form spiritual habits in such a way that they are small steps, they're easily doable steps that then can compound on each other. You know, you think about it. What if you could get 1% better at something? Does that feel exciting? Probably not. Probably, if I lost 1% of my weight, I wouldn't really care. If I got 1% stronger, I wouldn't really care. So we kind of think, well, okay, doing something to get 1% better is not a big deal. But do you realize that if you got 1% better at something every week, by the end of a year, your life is radically different. Let's take it by day. If you got 1% better at something every day, then you're 3 to 4 times better by the end of the year. It's the compound interest. Just like if you had a credit card and they charge, 15% interest, you're going to be in big debt really soon because of that compound interest. Well, compound spiritual interest works the same way. And so what we want to do at the beginning of the week, we want to start thinking, what is one small spiritual habit that I can start today that will take less than 5 minutes? So, examples could be, I'm going to intend to do 2 minutes of continual prayer every day. And 2 minutes of praying every day, not going to radically change your life, but a habit of 2-minute prayer every day really can, because it's the beginning of something. So 2 minutes of prayer, one verse that I'm going to read from the Bible, and then I'm going to journal one thing I'm thankful for every day. So that could all happen inside of 5 minutes. So you could say like, okay, my commitment, and I know it's not much, but I'm going to commit to 5 minutes every day of doing something to commit to after camp or whatever it is. These small start things, what's really nice about them is because they're easy, because they're, like if you have 5 minutes and you remember you can do it, you can get them done. And then you build on them, and you never have to stop at 5 minutes, right? Like you say, I'm going to read one verse a day. Nobody's saying you have to stop at one a day, but you're making your minimum one a day. And what I'm going to talk about over the course of this week are 4 key components to starting any habit that you're going to be able to have in life. And they work in your spiritual life. They work for your physical health. They work for your academics. They work in basically every area of life. We're going to talk about making it obvious, making it easy, making it attractive, and making it rewarding. This week, I'm going to kind of lay out for you how you can go from great intentions in your faith to great practices of faith, which means great transformation. So today, as you close out, here's what I want you to do. What is one small habit that you can start today to stay close to Jesus, even as your feelings from camp fade away or your feelings from whatever spiritual high fade away? So what is your one small habit? And right now, before you finish anything else, I want you to write it down, and I want you to set a reminder to prepare it with an existing habit. So it's like, when I brush my teeth, I'm going to pray for 1 minute. When I get ready to plug my phone in to charge at night, I'm going to open the Bible app and read one Bible verse. Just something very simple. When I do this, then I'm going to do this. And you might even set your alarm reminder for that each day. So tomorrow, we're going to talk about how to make your habit obvious. That'll go a great way in getting you involved every day. But for today, just think about small steps. I know you want to change the world. Anybody who changes the world, anybody who changes their spiritual life, does it one tiny step at a time. So let's not think about the mountain. Let's think about the next tiny step, and we'll build on that tomorrow.